Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balava Giribharadhari Gopijana Balava Giribharadhari Gopijana Balava Giribharadhari Gopijana Balava Giribharadhar Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotarashata Srimad, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotarashata Srimad, His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Shishiguru and Shigoranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, the Summon Bonum, Chapter 9, Mother Yashoda binds Lord Krishna, text number 11. Krita Gashamtam Parudantan Akshini. 10 and 11. Okay. So verses 10 and 11. Get back to number 10. The door, is it? Keep an eye on that. So text number 10 and 11. Ambanchamana janani brihakchalak shoni barakrantan gati shamadhyama. Shroni Barakranta Gati Shumadhyama. Javena Vishramsita Kesha Bandhana Chuta Prashuna Nugati Paramrishat Avanchamana Janani Brihakchalat Choni Barakranta Gati Shumadhyama Javena Vishramsita Kesha Bandhana Chuta Prashuna Nugati Paramrishat Avanchamana Janani Brihakchalak Shoni Barakranta Gati Shumadhyama Javeda Vishramsitas Kesha Bandhana Shuta Prashuna Nugati Paramrishat. Please chant. Avanchamana Janani Brihachalak Shoni Barakranta Gati Shumadhyama Javena Vishramsita Kesha Bandhana Chuta Prashuna Nugati Paramrishat Avanchamana Janani Brihachalak Shoni Barakranta Gati Sumudyama Javena Vishramsita Kesha Bandhana Chuta Prashuna Nugati Paramrishat. Raktak Prabhu, can you unlock that door? Avanchamana, following Krishna very swiftly. Janani, Mother Yashoda, Brihat Chala Shroni Bhara Akranta Gatihi, being overborne by the weight of her large breasts, she became tired and had to reduce her speed. Sumadhyama, because of her thin waist. Javena, because of going very fast. Vishramsita Kesha Bandhana, from her arrangement of hair, which had become loosened. Chuta Prashuna Anugatihi, she was followed by the flowers falling after her. Paramrishat finally capture Krishna without fail. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. While following Krishna, Mother Yashoda, her thin waist overburdened by her heavy breast, naturally had to reduce her speed. Because of following Krishna very swiftly, her hair became loose, and the flowers in her hair were falling after her. Yet, she did not fail to capture her son, Krishna. Purport. Yogis cannot capture Krishna by severe penances and austerities. But Mother Yashoda, despite of all obstacles, was finally able to catch Krishna without difficulty. This is the difference between a yogi and a bhakta. Yogis cannot enter even the effulgence of Krishna. Jasya prabhaprabhato jagananda koti kotishu. No, this goes. Jasya prabhaprabhato jagananda koti kotishu. Brahma Samhita 540. Thank you, Prabhu. In that effulgence there are millions of universes, but yogis and jnanis cannot enter that effulgence even after many, many years of austerities. Whereas bhaktas can capture Krishna simply by love and affection. This is the example shown here by Mother Yashoda. Krishna therefore confirmed that if one wants to capture him, one must undertake devotional service. Bhaktya mam abhijanati javan jas chasmi tattvataha tatto man tattvato gyatva vishate tat anantaram. Bhagavad Gita 18:55. Bhaktas enter even the planet of Krishna very easily, but the less intelligent yogis and jnanis, by their meditation, remain running after Krishna. Even if they enter the effulgence, Krishna's effulgence, they fall down. Text number 11. Kritagashantam prarudantam akshini kashantangangyam mashinishwapanina udvikshamanam bhaja bihi lekshanam haste grihitva vishayanti an avagurat. Translation. When caught by Mother Yashoda, Krishna became more and more afraid and admitted to being an offender. And she looked upon him. As she looked upon him, she saw that he was crying, his tear mixing with the black ointment around his eyes, and he rubbed his eyes with his hands. As he rubbed his eyes with his hands, he smeared the ointment all over his face. Mother Yashoda, catching her beautiful son by the hand, mildly began to chastise him. Purport. From these dealings between Mother Yashoda and Krishna, we can understand the exalted position of a pure devotee in loving service to the Lord. Yogis, jnanis, karmis, and Vedantis can not even approach Krishna. They must remain very, very far away from him and try to enter his bodily effulgence. Although this also they are unable to do. Great demigods are Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva always worship the Lord by meditation and service. Even the most powerful Yamaraj fears Krishna. Therefore, as we find in the story of Ajamila, Yamaraj instructed his followers not even to approach the devotees, what to speak of capturing them. In other words, Yamaraj also fears Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Yet, this Krishna became so dependent on Mother Yasoda that when she simply showed Krishna the stick in her hand, Krishna admitted to being an offender and began to cry like an ordinary child. Mother Yashoda, of course, did not want to chastise her beloved child very much, and therefore she immediately threw her stick away and simply rebuked Krishna, saying, quote, "Now I should bind you so that you cannot commit any further offensive activities, nor for the time being can you play with your playmates." End of quote. This shows the position of a pure devotee, in contrast with others like Jnanis, Yogis, and the followers of Vedic ritualistic ceremonies, in regarding the transcendental nature of the absolute truth. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Ummilitan Jena Tasmai Sri Gurube Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Ramapaswami. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prachaline Nirveshesha Shunyavadi Pashatyade Satarine Panchakalpa Tarubhyasha Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pamanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So, the theme of the recurrent message that we hear in this description of Mother Yashoda binding Krishna is the wonderful position of the devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How by their love and affection towards Krishna, then Krishna becomes so dependent that he allows to be controlled, to be captured by the devotee. In the prayers of the Damodarastaka, this is also highlighted. That the poet says, "Iti dikshwali labir ananda kunde swagoshan nimajantam akya payamtam." Then this part, Tadi yeshita yeshur bhaktar yitatvam puna prematas tam satavriti vande. To the devotees, the devotee prayers, this part, Tadi yeshita yeshur bhaktar yitatvam. To the devotees who are attracted only to his majestic aspects of Narayan and Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure loving devotion. So this bhaktar jitatvam, this puna prematas tam satabriti vande, that the Lord is so attractive to this pure loving devotion that he becomes he is able to become as dependent of a child to the mother. And then for the devotee who is aspiring, who's seeing this most exalted position of the pure devotees and the relationship that they have with the personality of Godhead, then the devotee prays like this: Varan deva mokshan na moksham vadim va na chanyam brinehan vareshat apiha. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benediction, I do not pray for liberation, moksha, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. And then what is it prayer for? Idam te bapur nata gopala balam sada me manasya virastam kinanyai. My only prayer is that your childhood pastime may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your future as Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my mind. So, the devotee, you can see in your prayer to be able to follow in the footsteps of these great personalities. We pray for that. We pray for that devotional service. Tata prema bhaktin swakam me prajacha namokshe graho mesti damodareha. Please bless me in the same way that you bless the sons of Kuvera, Nalagriva and what is the other guy? Managriva and Nalakubara. Managriva and Nalakubara. In the same way that you bless them with pure devotional service, please bless me in the same way. I have no desire for liberation into your effulgence. So this is the aspiration. This is what we actually, by hearing this beautiful passage, this is what Krishna is providing for us in the form of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Like the chapter that we're right now is called the Suman Bonan. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is called the cream of all the Vedas. What is it? Galitam, how's it? Nigama kalpataro galitam phalam. Phalam means fruit. So it's the ripened fruit. It's the essence of all the Vedas. So the Vedas are considered like this tree of knowledge. It's a tree of knowledge in where all the kalpa vriksha, the kalpa taror, is a desire tree. And the ripened fruit, the essence of all that Vedic knowledge is the Srimad Bhagavatam. And this chapter is the Suman Bonan, which means the highest of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And that's what we're receiving. We're receiving the opportunity to meditate and to be able to take these pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan within our heart. And that in itself is the ultimate benediction, that the devotees don't ask for anything else. All other benedictions they consider, what is the use of all the other kind of benedictions the devotees say? But that I can able to take those pastimes within my heart. Because by taking those pastimes within one's heart, one is able to not only appreciate but aspire to follow in the footsteps of such a great devotees. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, he, in the first 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, it is explained, it's called the Karma Yoga section of the Gita. And Srila Prabhupada says that the first 6 chapters of the Gita are meant for those who are interested in transcendental knowledge, in understanding the self, the super self, and the process of realization by jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, and discrimination from the self from matter. So, the presentation of what transcendental knowledge is and how we can act guided by transcendental knowledge and become, learn the art of acting in the world without becoming entangled by the results of actions. How we can actually live a life in connection with the absolute truth. We understand what is, in the first 6 chapters, we get instructed to understand what is transcendental knowledge. And transcendental knowledge, Krishna explained, in a nutshell, is to understand in truth the divine nature of his appearance in this world and his pastimes. Jamma karma chame divyan evan yo veti tattvataha tattva, in truth. And if we can come to that perfect understanding on truth of Krishna, then one is qualified to go back home, back to Godhead. So, the first 5th chapter gives us an understanding of transcendental knowledge and allows to discriminate between body and soul, between matter and spirit. Then when Krishna starts the next 6 chapters from 7 to 12, he introduces Arjuna. Now he's going to take it deeper. He says, now listen carefully. He starts the 7th chapter. Tat Shrinu. So listen very carefully, because now he's going to reveal something that is very, very rare. Very rare. And Krishna goes to, in that 7th chapter, which is the introduction to the section of the Gita that is called Bhakti Yoga. He first established how rare it is someone who is able to enter into the knowledge of him. So he says that out of many thousands and thousands of men, Manushyanan Sahasresu Kaschit Jatati Sidaje, that out of many thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection. And then the Acharyas explain that as of 1,000, 1/10 of a 1%, they even give number, I think this is Madhavacharya, 1/10 of 1%. So that's what, 0.010, no? 0.01, right? 0.1/10 of 1%. So 0.01%. That means that out of 100 person, no, what is it? Out of 1,000, out of 100 person, 1 person, no? No? No. Anyway, my mathematics are, we're getting too accustomed to technology. Out of 1,000 persons, 1% is 10 people. And a tenth, one. So 1 out of 1,000. 1 out of 1,000 people may endeavor for perfection. So you have people that are followers of the Vedas. I mean, in this context, they're talking about those karmis. Karmis means those who follow the karma kanda portion of the Vedas. So among many of those karmis, jnanis, then one may endeavor for perfection. One can actually try to understand transcendence. And out of all, and of those who have achieved perfection, so one may endeavor for perfection, and out of thousands of persons who are endeavoring for perfection, 1/10 of 1%, according to Madhvacharya, may achieve perfection. And of thousands of those who achieve perfection, 1/10 of 1% may know Krishna in truth. So Krishna says that that is rare. Later he says that these great personalities who are able to know him, they're considered sudurlabha, samahatma sudurlabha. They're very rare. That you only can get there as the many births. Bahunam jammana ante, yanavan mam prapadyante. After many births of cultivating knowledge, after many births of actually pursuing the path of transcendence, then you come to the understanding of Krishna's position. And even those who come to know Krishna by devotional service, still they can become confused, even to get to the position of fully understanding. Even there's degrees of understanding even for those who knows Krishna. An example is given that even great demigods such as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva sometimes become bewildered. Muhyanti yat surajaha. Krishna says in the first, Lord Srila Vyasadeva says in the first verse of the Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma adikavaye muhyanti yat surajaha. That although he gives this knowledge to Lord Brahma from within the heart, the knowledge about who he is, the knowledge about everything, transcendental knowledge, even sometimes all these great personalities, demigods, becomes bewildered. And then we see later Lord Brahma becomes bewildered by Krishna's displays, because it's just completely far out to understand that the Supreme Controller is having these sweet human-like pastimes with the devotees of Vrindavan. when you think of the most powerful personality in the whole cosmic manifestation, there's no question the first thing that comes into your mind is a baby that is crying because the mother is chastising him. And he immediately says, no, I did wrong, no, and then start to cry like that. Or it's difficult to understand that he's playing tug of war or wrestling or playing games with his beloved. That's my telephone, it's so annoying. It's in one of the pockets there. Sorry about that. Thanks, Mukunda. Just turn it off. Yeah, that's good. Thanks, bro. Oh. So, if you see, it's impossible to imagine that. It's inconceivable to imagine that the most powerful person is sitting down, just having lunch with his devotees, with his friends, exchanging, eating from each other's plates and joking like ordinary boys. Who can understand that? When we think of the most powerful personalities, we think of Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha, the supreme controller, the supreme creator, his majestic manifestation. That's what we think. It's easy to think like that. But to see that supreme being as a baby that is being captured by the mother because he's doing all kinds of crazy, mischievous children activities, breaking stuff, playing with the monkeys. So even the demigods become bewildered by that. Lord Brahma became bewildered. And Lord Brahma is the most qualified personality in the universe, the most intelligent, and is a great self-realized devotee, one of the Mahayans. So, the head of our Sampradaya. So the point is that it is not simple to understand Krishna, to come to that position, to understanding. He says that also in this chapter, 7th chapter, text number 26. He says that he knows everything. He knows everything, past, present, and future. But Mantu Veda Nakaschana, that no one knows him. No one understands him. No one fully knows him as he is. No one knows me as I am, he says. So then that creates this problem. So if you want to achieve liberation, you have to understand Krishna as he is, Tattvataha. But no one can understand Krishna, he says. So how you can get to that? So the Acharyas explain this. By Krishna's mercy, he reveals himself. He gives that to the devotee. He allows that. And in the presence of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Rupa Goswami was praised by the community of devotees of Lord Chaitanya because Srila Rupa Goswami wrote this verse. It's a famous verse in which he expressed the inner feelings of Lord Chaitanya, that it was the most intimate inner feelings of Lord Chaitanya that he was experienced during the Ratha Yatra. And it's something that it was inaccessible to most of the devotees to enter into that space. And Srila Rupa Goswami wrote a verse that, I can't remember the verse, but in paraphrasing the verse is saying, I am the same Radha and you're the same Krishna. And now we're coming together in this Kurukshetra and basically expressing the mood of Srimati Radharani when she met Krishna after so much time has passed that Krishna have left Vrindavan. Now he met Krishna in Kurukshetra, and Krishna is a king and with queens and big chariots, and in this display of Vasudeva Krishna, Dwarka Krishna, and Srimati Radharani is just telling him just with her heart that he just wants the Krishna from Vrindavan. So here I am, and here you are. So she expressed the desire to take Krishna back to Vrindavan. So that's, the festival of Ratha Yatra. That is a display of that mood, the mood of the Brijavasis, and especially of Srimati Radharani, of taking Krishna back to Vrindavan. So we're pulling the chariots back to Vrindavan. So Srila Rupa Goswami was able to understand that. And then he wrote this in a leaf, in a palm leaf, and then he had this, it was a personal thing for him, and then he hid the verse in the palm leaf in the thatch of his hut. No? That's how you say it. And Lord Chaitanya will come daily to visit him, and as he comes, and Srila Rupa Goswami pays his dandavats, Lord Chaitanya immediately just went right into the spot that this leaf was hidden. And he took it and then read it. And he was surprised. Lord Chaitanya was surprised. Rupa, how is that you know my heart? And then Lord Chaitanya gathered, called all the devotees. And then he have Srila Rupa Goswami read this to the devotees. And then he asked, Lord Chaitanya asked his intimate devotees, specifically he asked his most intimate devotees, who was Swarup Damodar Goswami and Srila Ramananda Roy, how is that Rupa Goswami knows my heart? How is that he can enter into that intimacy, that he can fully knows what is in my heart? Then Srila Swarup Damodar Goswami answer is because you have given them that mercy. He is the beneficiary of the full mercy of your lotus feet, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So by the mercy of Krishna, then we can fully receive that understanding. We cannot achieve it otherwise. So therefore Krishna says, Bhaktiyaman abhijanati, that only through bhakti, Srila Prabhupada quotes that verse in the purport. Where is it? Yeah. The bhaktas can capture Krishna simply by love and affection. Krishna confirms that if one wants to capture him, one must undertake devotional service. Bhaktiyaman abhijanati javan chasmit tattvataha. To understand him in full, in tattva, then through loving devotional service. And it is important for us to follow or to receive that devotional service, that we understand that it can only be achieved by the mercy of those who have that mercy, who have received that mercy. So, so we connect and follow in the footsteps of these great personalities, and that's sort of the essence of listening to these pastimes, that we can actually connect to the pastime with the help and the guidance of those who are actually fully understanding them. So to hear from the acharyas, and specifically our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, is and go through this pastime is the greatest fortune that we can ever imagine. Like the devotee poet said, what is the use of any other kind of benediction? Let these pastimes of Krishna, performing his childhood activities with Mother Yashoda, being always enacted within my heart. What is the use of any other kind of liberation? So I stop here. Any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for your class. My comment and question and appreciation on some of these points are mentioned in this verse. Prabhupada quotes, basically this verse talks about how one can capture Krishna again. And Prabhupada quotes the last verse that you mentioned, Bhaktiyaman abhijanati, etc. from Gita 18.55. And one thing I remember in that purport is that Prabhupada says, essentially, one's high education cannot help one capture Krishna in that purport, only bhakti. And the reason I appreciate that is because in general, we see in the material world, sometimes we try to use our ordinary methods to capture others. The same methods we use to capture others, we try to use to capture Krishna. And what is that? Spinning a web with our beauty, spinning a web with our high education, or our money, or prestigious positions. And one thing I appreciate that in Bhaktisiddhanta's poem, Vaishnava K, verse 3 to that, Jayapataka Maharaj commented on Bhaktisiddhanta's book, Vaishnava K, and in verse 3, Jayapataka Maharaj mentions a profound point. He says, just as a spider is never entangled by its web, so Krishna can never be entangled in the web of lust, anger, greed, etc. Prabhupada also mentions this. Recently I found a quote in the prayers of Indra, in the Krishna book. The title is entitled The Prayers of Indra, after he got humbled by Krishna and Govardhan Lila. Prabhupada quotes Indra saying that Indra was quoting saying, personalities are like you are not entangled in the web of the material qualities. The word web is used. And we can understand that the lesson we see that appears in the scriptures many times, that Krishna is not seduced by beauty. He's not impressed by our high education, nor is he bribed by money. The only thing that seduces, impresses, or bribes Krishna is what Prabhupada mentions, bhakti, or prema. Prema haite Krishna hoy, nisha bhakta vash. Prema haite poi Krishneta seva sukha ras. This verse is from, it's a nice verse from the Adi Lila, chapter 7, verse 149. It says that the Lord is greater than the greatest and smaller than the smallest. Yeah, even though he's the supreme absolute truth, the creator of the universe, he still becomes captured and submissive to one who has prema and a little service. He becomes submissive to that person. And so another point I would like to mention is that we see that in the material world, I'll just use the example of Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. It's a very nice example. Lord Brahma, in the past time where Hiranyakashipu worshiped Brahma for Brahma's powers, Brahma could have been very proud and thought, Hiranyakashipu has so much Brahma bhakti. Same with Lord Shiva. There was a demon who worshipped Lord Shiva for Lord Shiva's power. And Lord Shiva could have been proud. Oh, this demon's name was Vrikasura. And Lord Shiva could have been proud. Vrikasura has so much Shiva bhakti. And so sometimes in the material world, people say, oh, I can capture some others with my beauty, with my high education, or with my money. But we see that actually people with beauty, high education, and money, their followers are actually not their followers. They're with them with the motivation. So they actually have no followers. And we see that, and so we see in the life of Prabhupada, what's the attractive quality? Prabhupada came to the West with no money. He was an old man. He wasn't a young woman. He was an old man. And usually when people get old, all their family and friends leave them. But what was Prabhupada's attractive quality? He was connected to Krishna. Ishwara sarvabhutanam hridesha arjuna tishati. Brahmayan sarvabhutani yantra arudani mayaya. The word yantra, I love this verse. It says, this body is a machine. We see that a machine or a computer is only attractive when it's connected to its power source, and unattractive when it's disconnected from its power source. So we see that Prabhupada didn't have money when he came. He wasn't young, nor did he have any followers at first. But why was he so attractive? Because prima hoite Krishna hoy nisha bhakta vash. Prima hoite poi Krishneta seva sukha ras. That's why Krishna says in the Gita also 10:8, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravatate. Iti matsua bhajate mam Buddha bhava samabhitaha. Those who are Buddha, those who are wise, connect to me, the power source, and they don't try to connect to these temporary opulences which are not yours. You don't actually get followers with these opulences. And we can see that proved throughout. People betray each other because, oh, I could capture people proud. I could capture some others, but you can't capture anyone with these. Only prima capture. So my question, if I had to ask some points I appreciate is that, what are some steps we can move forward to develop the faith that actually Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, unlocking Krishna Prema with our heart is the real attractive force, and not, that's why we see so many arguments in this material world. People come together on the most material nation, man and woman, but why can't they maintain their relationships or maintain their peace of mind amongst each others? Because they're not putting Krishna in the center. And so what are some steps we can gain a realization, or how do we know whether we're putting Krishna in the center or not in our relationships, even in devotee relationships? We may be chanting Hare Krishna, doing so many rituals, but why is there so many arguments? So how do we know whether we're not putting Krishna in the center or not, whether we're actually connecting to our power source and not connecting to these webs we try to capture others where we're actually been entangled by them? So how do we distinguish that?
Well, the simplest way is just conflict. So you have conflict, you have something that is conflicting either to yourself or to someone else in the relationship or in the exchange. If there is something conflicting, then you can understand very easily. And the other part is if that is less easier to understand that is happening is when you are when there is no conflict, but there is, you know, enjoyment. So if that is disconnected to Krishna, then one becomes either elated by happiness or by a happy situation, or distressed by some conflicting situation. The distress is very easy. That's why everybody in distress, you know, have a greater capacity of understanding that you're disconnected to Krishna. Devotees, you know, have that. But also, if we become more mature, then in the situations in which things are going, I mean, you like to say the thing going our way, then we can have, if we as we become mature, we have a better understanding of where our consciousness is, and being able to see the disconnect. And the part that we have to watch is that always remind ourselves that we are instrument of our spiritual master. So we are dependent on the mercy of Guru and Krishna. That our capacity to achieve, our capacity to do things is depending on that mercy. We have to become empowered. So we keep a watch on that. If I find myself thinking I'm the doer, then very easily this I am the doer comes in a tantum, you know, that is that it comes together with the understanding I am the enjoyer. So I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. That you can separate it. So it's a much more subtle area of disconnect, and we have to keep a watch on that. And in general, Krishna is very expert in helping us as devotees. If we get into that mood of I am the doer and I am the enjoyer, at one point Krishna is going to put some conflict in that path. And then when you hit the conflict, is that when you realize, oh, that's what happened. I'm completely disconnected. And that's when the devotee corrects itself. You know, sometimes it takes us time to correct ourselves because of false ego, to be able to, but we get there. Krishna help us. It may take some time for some of us, you know, that although we come to understand and disconnect, but I don't, you know, I'm getting stuck in that space of disconnect, how to deal with the conflict, and become bewildered. But the exit from that is to touch base with our spiritual reality, and that's at the lotus feet of the spiritual master. So that's why we always have to remind our dependence. And so how can we understand? Well, we have to keep tuned in, but conflict is is a great, is the easiest way? Are you conflicted in things, internally towards others, others towards me, or things like that, like you often bring these conflicts of, people criticizing, all that drama that we find ourselves, involved in our daily life, through our life, going through happiness and distress, all that drama is conflicting. It's not fun, When we're in a happy situation, we're anxious that, is how long it's going to be, because our experience is that, we're going into this happiness and distress. Happiness followed by distress, distress is happiness, is followed by happiness, and then this business from, who knows from how long. So all this drama causes conflict. And at one point it's just going to click when it's going to do the Draupadi program. Draupadi. Hey Govinda, I'm done. I just leave it all to Govinda. So at one point, that's what Krishna is leading us. Right now we're holding, trying to fight an impossible fight to win. For Draupadi, it was impossible to be able to defeat the strength of powerful Dushashan. So, trying to fight against Maya, Duratyaya, is impossible. So, only, Prapadyante, Krishna. Then we can get there. So for now, watch conflict. That's that's the easiest clue that we're disconnecting. So if I feel, I don't have to worry about someone else's disconnect, but if I'm conflicted, if I'm like disturbed, then I'm disconnected. So where is my disconnect? So we keep a watch on that. And anything else? One more question if there's, otherwise we close.
I have a brief comment, appreciation of your point.
Keep it short though.
You were mentioning drama and Draupadi, so my comment is briefly connected to that. We see that in the past science, there's two types of personalities. Those who are devoted to Rama and those who are devoted to drama. Yeah. And so Draupadi, like you said, I appreciate that point. When she tried to use her own strength, she couldn't help herself, but when she called out the Lord's name, she was saved. Same in the Ramayana, that when they wrote the name of Lord Rama on the stones floated. Had they write their own name, Hanuman kind of wanted to write his own name. He was thinking he was better than someone. So Lord Rama said, fine, Hanuman, go write your name on the stone, see if they'll float. You have no strength without, so don't criticize even other devotees. So anyway, that's a point. I appreciate that if we want to write the Lord's name on things we do, we'll float. But if we want to write our own name, then we'll sing. Even if we chant Hare Krishna, the Lord sees our motivation, whether we're trying to be an enjoyer like you were mentioning. So anyway, some points to be appreciated.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Garantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.